Okay, so I am officially in Heredia, Costa Rica, and this has just been absolutely unbelievable. So, I have to tell you how much of a struggle it was to even get here. Um, so I was trying to leave on inauguration day for obvious reasons, and I woke up and I'm like checking my boarding time just to be sure, and it's 5:20, and we didn't even leave my house until like 4:45, and I live like 20 minutes away from the airport, so the day was already off to a struggle bus. Um, and then I get to the airport, I hand them my passport, and they're like, no, you can't get on our plane. And I'm like, what do you mean I can't get on your plane? And they're like, yeah, you need to have you need to have a visa since you're staying for over 90 days. And I'm trying to explain to them, I don't get the visa until I go there and get off the plane and they stamp it with a 90-day visa. And then I go back and get my estancia. And they're just like, yeah, no, you can't come. So that was really stressful. I almost cried. And I'm like, okay, well, what can I do right now to get on that plane? And the lady's like, well, you can change your return flight date, but let me call these people. That would be $250. And I'm like, I'm not dropping $250 on something silly like this. So she told me that there was another flight that I could catch at 10 a.m. And right now it was like 5:45 a.m. So I'm like, okay, I just need to buy some time. So then I'm like, oh, can you put me on the 10 a.m. flight? And she's like, let's wait to see what you're gonna do before I go ahead and put you on there. And I'm like, I'm gonna do whatever it takes to get on the flight. But anyway, I didn't get on it at the airport. So then I leave and I'm freaking out and I'm trying to fill out this like visa form in the car. And then I'm like, what's the point of this? No one's going to process my visa in 3 hours. Like, it's not even 6 a.m. No one's awake. So then I'm just freaking out and I get home and I'm trying to call USAC, but they're in Nevada and I'm in Ohio. So they're 3 hours behind. So it's only 3 a.m. there. Everybody's knocked out. I'm trying to call Costa Rica. Nobody's up yet. And I'm like, also never made an international phone call in my life, so that was interesting. I thought I left a bunch of messages, but none of them got returned, so maybe I didn't. And so eventually I called my travel agents, and they were the most helpful. If you ever need travel agents, they will be linked below, because these people were up at 6 a.m. doing everything in their power to help me. We thought I was going to have to buy a ticket to Nicaragua to show that I was leaving the country for 90 days, because then I remembered I had an excursion in February to Cuba. So if I could just get proof of that, I'd be good to go. Oh, by the way, I was doing all of this with sticky butt. And the reason I say that is because when I got into the car at 4:45 a.m., I sat in a cup of syrup and it went everywhere. So I'm doing all this with sticky butt. All my clothes are packed away and my suitcases are in the attic, so I didn't have time to change. I was just trying to get this taken care of. So I'm just standing, not sitting down anywhere, with sticky butt, trying to handle this emergency situation. I didn't think I was going to get to go to Costa Rica. I didn't know what was going to happen. Eventually, my program director woke up and he sent me proof that I was going to Cuba within 90 days. So that was perfect. My travel agents are like, don't buy the bus tickets yet. Just print that out and take that. You should be good. So I'm like, bet. So I print out the Cuba information and I'm like, let me stick this right next to my passport. So I open my little cute book that Sarah got me for Christmas, my little passport book, but you know what's not in it? My passport. So I'm like, okay, maybe I knew I didn't leave it at the airport because I distinctly remember that awful lady handing it back to me with my boarding pass in it. So I was like, oh, hopefully I left it in the car. And it's raining, by the way. So I walk outside in the rain. There's my passport on the street, open, wet, right outside the door. It must have been in my lap. And when I got up, I dropped it. So glad no one stole my identity. Got my passport, went upstairs, and this is like 7 in the morning. I'm blow drying it. My parents have gone back to sleep. I was like, this is important. So I'm blow drying my passport dry. And then luckily it's made out of like really good paper. And then I take it downstairs. I put the Cuba papers in it. And by this time I'm starving. Absolutely starving. So I like make myself a sandwich. But as I'm putting my dishes in the sink afterwards, I dropped half of the sandwich into dirty sink water. So, listen, the first day in Trump's America, I was losing, okay? I was losing every battle. But eventually, went back to Delta, got on my flight, finally flew to Atlanta, had a 6-hour layover, which was so fun. I tried to sleep and watch SpongeBob and do all my normal things. Oh, but my dumb butt, so I don't travel very much. And when I was in the Atlanta airport, I'm like, man, you know what? There's no one over here. So let me just apply King Library rules and just leave my stuff while I go to the restroom. No. So I left my stuff and I went to the restroom and I'm texting my best friend, Ashley. And I'm like, yeah, blah, blah, blah. Just left my stuff at the airport, you know, doing King Library. She was like, oh my God, don't do that. They're going to think it's a bomb. And I was like, ugh. So then I'm like running back to my stuff and there was just people crowded around me like, we were about to call security. Why would you do this? You're not allowed to do this. 9/11 happened. Ugh. And I was like, listen, all I have to tell you is that I'm sorry. Like, I am so sorry. But we can't go back in time. I can't undo it. This lady yelled at me for like 5 minutes. If you know me, you know I hate getting in trouble. So being yelled at was terrifying. But you know what? It all worked out. Eventually, 3 hours later of her mean mugging me, got on my flight to Costa Rica, landed, got all my luggage, even though I think that one of my suitcases is broken. And then my host mom and dad were there to pick me up. They're super sweet. And I came home. They fed me so much food, which is a repeating trend here. Every time I sit down, there's like 2 or 3 plates of food. And I don't want to be rude, so I try to make like an impression on each plate. I also don't want to force feed myself, so I don't eat it all. But we're getting to a good agreement about how much food I can eat. She's starting to be like, oh, she's a little eater. She's a little eater. But it's funny because my host family speaks exclusively Spanish. And sometimes, like, I just won't be paying attention very well because my brain will be in English mode or something. And they'll be talking about me. And sometimes I can hear it and understand it. Sometimes I can't. But they know that I probably can't, so it's all fine. It's never anything bad. They're like, yeah, she's a little eater. She doesn't eat much. Which is pretty much true. But yeah, things have been amazing here. My host family is very, very sweet. Our house is amazing. And it has a beautiful view outside. This whole city has been great. The other people in the program have been really sweet thus far. And so I think it's going to be really awesome semester. A lot of people want to travel, which is what I want to do. So I think it'll be great to travel in groups. But at the same time, there's also like a great opportunity to meet other Ticos. Like, my host mom has a huge family. And so far I haven't met anyone that's like my age, but I'm sure she's got some grandsons or some nephews or nieces or granddaughters somewhere. Just want to get to meet other Ticos because so I am super excited for the rest of study abroad. We had orientation, so I'm all in my classes. I'm taking a kind of high level track, but I think I'll be okay. But yeah, that's all I have for today. I'll try to be back next week with a review on my classes, and hopefully I'll have some Tico friends made by then. But we'll see. So thank you for watching. See you next week. Bye.